Kia ora team, Richard Aholele here. I'm the host of Kiwi Hustle in New Zealand that's here to bring you the best in grassroots business, entrepreneurship and fitness. Follow us along the journey as we interview some of the biggest names that New Zealand has to offer. Don't forget to please subscribe to our channel and don't forget to like. How's it going, team? Richard here from the Kiwi Hustle podcast. I'm here with a very special guest here. He is one of the originals in bodybuilding when it comes to bodybuilding, especially in New Zealand. He's been in the industry for a surplus of 25 years, and he has got all the accolades, awards, trophies in his trophy cabinet. He has been a pioneer in the fitness industry, and not many people know that this guy was one of the originals way back in the day with the likes of Darren Onikawa and Daryl Tamuli. And this is our guest, Grant Pieterse. How's it going, brother Grant?
Good, brother. Beautiful. Beautiful to be here. Thank you for the opportunity to bring some light in some very deep areas of the sport that I think are lacking. They can help a lot of people.
So not many people know, but Grant here, he started bodybuilding. Well, how old are you, bro?
I think I came in when I was like 17.
Yeah.
So when the first won the teenage men as a 17-year-old, and then went on to the juniors and stuff like that. Yeah.
And what year was that?
Heck.
1990?
Yeah, I think it was around
1999,
Yeah, that's right. Nice.
So I remember, bro, like I was saying to you before, bro, when I used to work out at Creo, Papakura, that's before they changed the name to New York Fitness. I used to see you walking in sometimes, and bro, your arms were huge, man. Like when you walked into the gym, I remember this, bro, and I'm fanboying right now. Everyone used to be like, "Oh, Grant's in the gym, Grant's in the gym," and you'll be like, "Oh, okay, better watch out better stay away from the bicep curls." You know what I mean? So tell us a little bit of your where you were born, your school, and your background, bro. Where were you born and stuff?
Okay, so I was originally born in Southwest Africa. It's also known as Namibia. Just about South Africa. My parents moved here when I was, I think it's like 10 or 11. And they moved straight to Mormontville, I like to call it. So Hamilton.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Gotcha.
So I went to school at Church College and stuff. That's was born my background.
Yep.
Yeah, so started the sport when I was.
Because what was your sport background back at school?
Okay, so
were you always into lifting weights, or was it?
So I first started off with swimming and gymnastics.
Yeah.
Achieved really high, and then went to the Junior African Games, won in the butterfly, came third at the age of I think it was 9, 10.
Yep.
The gymnastics also represented the country.
Which one, New Zealand or
Namibia?
Namibia, yeah.
So I did a little bit of training, but didn't get into it a lot.
Yeah.
I was quite athletic and stuff like that when I was younger, which is just probably a genetic thing, but also I didn't sit still, man. I was obviously labeled
always active.
ADHD, learning disabilities, all that kind of stuff, which we'll obviously touch in a little bit later in what we're doing here. But yeah, so that's my background, and then they moved to New Zealand, which is, we also did some rugby.
Yep.
So growing up also, and this has nothing to do with, no judgment of my parents or anything like that. As we go on, grew up in a very, a home that was very filled with, let me say it in a very, just to be straight, abusive, right? And I say this with a lot of love. There's no judgment. There's no negative towards it. Our journey is what it is, and you're either going to learn from it or you're going to keep playing the victim.
And doing the same thing.
Yeah. So nothing against my parents. They did the best they could. But need to highlight, because people are going to feel this is their journey as well. Abusive, violent. So that was my upbringing, and that's where getting into the gym was to
get bigger,
get stronger,
to
be able to, protect myself rather than saying to stand up to myself.
So how old were you when you first touched a dumbbell? How old were you?
I'd say probably like 16.
Yep. Was it at the
17.
gym or was it at home or?
It was at a gym.
Which gym?
Yeah, it was when I first came to Takanini, when I did my flying school at Ardmore. I used to study here. So it was used to called, what is it called?
Not at the army camp? No.
No. Actually, no, it was just before that, actually, before I moved here. So it was actually Hamilton.
All right. Yeah.
Uni Rec.
The uni gym.
Yeah, the Uni Rec gym. And then it was coming up to Auckland, studying Ardmore.
Were you always quite a wide, bulky, athletic built person?
Yeah, and I'd say that comes from just
Genetics,
but also, like I said, I didn't sit still. I couldn't sit still.
Yeah.
You know, so I couldn't wait to finish school and just go and play rugby or do gymnastics or do swimming. So I was always just resistance training.
Yeah.
Whether it started with body weight, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where I would say it come from, right?
And so you come up to Auckland, and what happens with your fitness journey then, bro? How come you come up to Auckland?
Yeah, so originally I came up to Auckland because I was studying. I've got my private pilot's license, but also my commercial frozen pilot's license.
So you're official, like you could be a pilot right now?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
Yeah. I didn't follow through with that because obviously later on there's always things.
You're too wide for the chair.
Yeah, and also they don't tell you the costs involved to further the career and how
For the
hard.
hours?
The hours, yes, and what you actually do. So I kind of there was also another one of my healing part of me. I never, as soon as things got too hard,
Yeah.
I would give up.
Yeah.
Right. Which is just another part of the healing when you need to learn to be in that uncomfortable place and know what is good for you uncomfortably, but also what is not good for you uncomfortably, and that's obviously coming into intuition and beliefs and stuff. So, where are we at to?
So you're coming up to Auckland?
Yeah, and that's where I really took the bodyboarding. Came to the gym.
Which gym? Which one was the first gym?
That was when it was called Creo Gym.
Yeah.
Right. And I walked in and just like we all have the guys that we found, wow, like.
Who was big then? Who was big then?
Big then it was Daryl. Like Daryl Tamuli. Yeah.
For some of you guys don't know, man, this guy is a mammoth. He's what you would call a gorilla back, eh? Like you people talk about silverback, he is big.
Yeah, he's crazy. Obviously his chest, his quads, those are the things that just stood out to me, right? Like he obviously came from a powerlifting background.
Because did you guys ever train together? Quite frequently? Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
And so when I saw this human, he was just, insane. I was like, man, I want to be able to do this kind of stuff. This is seeing the guy squat like over 200 kilos for reps.
Yeah.
So he was wow.
I remember when I saw his quads once. I think he had come back from New Zealand, from Australia for a holiday. This was many years ago. Bro, his quads are just massive.
Yeah, that's another level. When you go look this guy up when he was in his peak, I think when he won NABA Universe and stuff, he was just sliced, diced. Like, and this is a guy who's, I think, is like 120 kilos or more
on stage.
Yeah. At like 6 foot. So, yeah.
And so you guys train, obviously, at Creo in Papakura, and how does it eventuate, bro, with the bodybuilding and that?
Yeah. So
what's your first comp?
Yeah, so my first comp was the juniors or teenage men.
Never?
No, that's so I started with the IFBB.
Oh wow, yeah.
Yeah, teenage men. Then went on to win the Australasians.
Teenage men.
Teenage, then juniors, because they didn't have teenage Australasians. Then juniors, under 21s, I went as an 18-year-old.
Shucks, you won it at 18?
18 or 19, yeah.
And the age limit was 21?
21, yeah.
Wow.
So I think I did that twice.
How does someone develop the discipline at that age, bro?
Honestly, man, like I said, it was a form of escape for me as we go on and talking about this. I could study, but labeled ADHD and stuff, my attention span was just short. So the gym was my place of going there and, escaping. So the discipline wasn't hard.
Yeah, okay.
Right.
Like sticking to a diet at 17 years old, bro. How old are you?
I'll be honest with you, so genetics was on my side. I could eat
McDonald's and still look six-pack.
Well, I didn't have the money to eat crap all the time. So
I
would say the circumstances and the genetics helped me achieve the goal, right? I didn't eat rubbish, right? But I could have eaten a lot cleaner. So
then you could have. Then you did.
Yeah.
How talking about genetics, bro, in terms of bodybuilding, how much do you think it plays a part in a role when it comes to, especially a career like bodybuilding, bro?
I mean, let's.
You know, the classic thing is, I got small calves because my, you know.
Yeah, there's also a belief element as we'll go on to the whole breathwork and belief system, where if you believe something, you already manifest what you believe and what you're worthy of. So genetics, I wouldn't say is going to limit you, but
give you that little edge.
You can't be a sprinter if you have
slow twitch fibers.
Yes, it's kind of like you're trying to go against what your
body's
purpose is.
Can you? Because you'll know this, but you've got a wealth of knowledge. Can you manipulate it so you can develop more fast twitch fibers, Grant?
Yes, you can, and there's certain ways. For example, if we go into the training part of things, where fast twitch is type 1, type 2, type 3 fibers, right? And if you add things like resistance bands, right,
to your training, you'll create more fast twitch.
What you're doing is you're switching on all the fibers and having them stay switched on. If you're having the band increasing in tension, moving away from your body.
Gotcha. Okay. So give us an idea how you'd create that for a deadlift or.
Okay, so the best thing, let's take a thing that everyone would love to do, bench press.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So if you take a band, you wrap around yourself or to the bottom of the bench or the bars, and it's pulling from the ground up.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you're coming closer or down to your body, tension is less or force is less.
Correct, yeah.
Also makes sense because that's the most vulnerable position.
Yeah.
Right? But as soon as you keep the contraction and apply even more force, as you go away from your body, the band's going to tension more. So meaning those fibers you switched on are going to need to be staying switched on all the way
whole time
up. And why does it differ from conventionally? With a bench, when you get to about 3/4 of the way up, you're just locking or using tricep, right? So the force you require right at the end actually decreases. It's the same as you think about a squat. Once you reach past 3/4,
correct, it's done.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
But once you apply a band, no, the force keeps increasing. So you can't switch anything off.
Escape the tension. Yeah,
exactly.
So would you encourage people to always train with bands or cycle it?
Look, you'll only need to bring bands into your part of training. When I write training plans, it comes in once you've mastered tempo, right? Like, you got to understand your body doesn't know what reps are. I see people so focused on reps.
Yeah, and weights.
It's got nothing to do with it. If you ask your muscle how many reps, it doesn't know. You're the one counting. Your muscle doesn't know. It just knows tension through the primary force of the primary muscle, right?
Yeah.
So if your focus is to grow, your focus is to add tension throughout the full range of your mechanical breakdown. Yeah. Okay. That's another thing you can touch on. Like, a lot of people are definitely so focused on full range of motion and depth of squats. Like, I can't squat that deep.
Yeah. But why is that? Is it because your biomechanics?
So I've had to teach myself, and I have to do heel raise squats more to get that depth for myself.
Gotcha. So that's with the plate underneath your heel.
And the heel, yeah. So you have to do and understand how your body works. This whole full range of motion, even on a chest or shoulders for you or me, could be very different.
Yeah.
Okay. As soon as, and this is what I mean by listening to your body. Yeah. It's always speaking to you. And again, we're talking about breathwork, how this comes in, but people are being taught, if it's painful, you need to go through that pain. It doesn't matter. And I see people, look, the pros are doing this, and maybe that's where they're seeing it. I come at things a different way. If your knee is hurting when you're doing a squat,
something's wrong.
Something is wrong.
Yeah.
Right? It's not because you're weak and you are not grinding hard enough. Liken it to this. I tell people, when you put your hand in a fire, what happens?
Your body's going to burn. Your body's
telling you.
Pain. Yeah.
Right. Your body's telling you when you're squatting, either your weight is too heavy, or your range of motion is wrong, or something in the movement pattern is wrong.
Yeah.
And you got to try and figure that out, because you're not going to get the best growth
from
the exercise you're trying to do.
Yeah.
If that's the case, your body is actually telling you
to stop.
Yeah. Right? And you're going, no, because the world says if I give up, I'm weak.
Or Instagram tells me this.
Yeah. So people need to start realizing, stop listening to this stuff. And I know there's so much information out there.
Yeah.
I haven't won the Olympia, so probably that doesn't give me enough merit at what I'm talking about.
Oh, you've won a lot of competitions, bro.
Yeah. But it's more, start listening to your body more.
Yeah.
It's speaking to you. Yeah. But you also need to know the difference between being uncomfortable pain and bad pain.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? That doesn't just happen overnight.
Yeah.
You need to, what I call, there's personal growth, there's spiritual growth, a lot of other stuff that come into it, to listen to your intuition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Grant, what are the titles you have under your belt when it comes to bodybuilding, bro? I know there's a big list, but if you don't mind going through it.
Yeah, so there's the teenage men, there's the juniors men, there's the open class title, then there's the turning pro 23. Then obviously I went through my
2000 when you were 23.
Yeah, 23
Shucks.
years old.
Was that IFBB Pro?
Yes.
Or, yep.
Yes. Then obviously I went through my journey of the healing part, where I thought this and that. Yeah, I'm not going to get into things that happen in the sport, because again, I believe things happen to you to help you find who you are, not
and
rely
grow.
on accolades
Yep.
to determine this is my worth.
Yeah.
So obviously I made some decisions that I left because I thought
At the time.
Yeah, because I thought things were not going my way because of some reasons. But that's
Was that a competition or a decision?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, yeah. And again, it's not. That's your own stuff you need to work on.
Yeah.
You know, it's you thinking that I need
The world's against me kind of thing.
Yes. Right. So then left and went to NABA,
Yep.
WFF,
Yep.
turned pro there in my first show, went to the universe, won the Mr. Universe in 2016.
The universe. That's
yeah.
the world.
Yes, that's the word.
Crazy.
And then again, I looked back on my life and started seeing patterns, right?
Yeah.
Then I did the same thing because I thought the world was against me because of something I did in my relationships, making up relationships because of not knowing my own self-worth, not loving myself, always needing it from the outside. Then went to a different federation, which was WBFF.
Gotcha. Is that
That's
Gillett? No.
Yes.
Yes.
Paul Dillett,
Yeah. He was a mass monster, bro.
Back in the
If
day.
everyone doesn't know him, he was huge.
Back in the 70s, I think.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Did the same thing there. Won my first show, turned pro, went and won, I think, placed top 3
In the worlds?
in the world.
Yep.
But then the same thing happened there as well, right? And I encourage all of you to look, if your things aren't working out for you in your life,
There's something internally, not externally.
what I came to the realization was from people like Wayne Dyer and other guys I follow and studied a lot of. What was the common denominator in all those things?
Grant.
So the problem wasn't outside of me. The problem was me. Well, it's not a problem either. We shouldn't label it that because it's negative. There was beliefs within me needing validation from the outside.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
1. 2, but I also realized not receiving the love. Now going deeper into my background.
You're finding love that you were missing at your childhood.
Yes. And also I had abandonment.
Yeah.
Things that I realized at the age of 33.
Yeah.
Found out that my father who raised me is not my real father.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So, but then all the pieces started making sense. Right?
I didn't even, you had that.
Yeah.
Wow. I know one of our members here, he found out, I think he might be close to 55, 60.
Yeah.
And then he just found out that his, biological father was not his father. If you don't mind, bro, highlighting what were the emotional things that you were going through at the time, bro, to get there, that's almost... What do you question? How do you feel? What were the things that go through your mind, bro? How did you get told? Actually, how did you get? Yeah.
So my mother, she and bless her soul. Like again, I thank my parents they did their best they could.
Yeah.
Right. So this is no judgment on them, but I need to tell the story. Right. And what they do with that information, that's their healing journey.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
whatever lens they've got on.
Yes, that's exactly it. Right. Their belief systems that they still need to work on and heal. Look, it probably wasn't a surprise, right? Because
did you always know that there wasn't a connection, there was friction at the time?
Yes,
or?
I mean, but I didn't think that, right? Yeah. And to come back to it, it kind of made sense then when I look back and reflect.
Look at all
the patterns and what was going on, the abandonment thing. So what I was doing in each relationship was manifesting my belief of not being worthy of love and abandonment. Okay, so this is again, we're going deep with the breathwork and the meditation starts. You start to then be able to see these patterns, right? And not just keep suppressing them. And as we go on and talking about this, I'll actually explain what that does too. So it was more of okay, it's starting to make sense now.
Was it hard when you got told the news, bro? Like, who told you? Your mum told you?
My mum, yeah.
How does she drop that news?
I guess she tried to do it in the best way possible. The situation.
Because how old were you when you got told, bro? 30?
33.
Wow, that's quarter of an average person's age or lifetime, bro. Yeah. You've been living.
Yeah,
I'm not don't want to be black and white, but a lie to a degree, bro.
Yeah. And look, I mean, I guess I gotta put it this way. I always now put myself in the other person's position.
Yeah.
And go, how difficult would that have been for my mum?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So again, I don't judge her. She did the best she could.
We've taken a lot of coverage.
Yeah.
To build that up, to come and tell you.
Yeah. So, look, again, that's our journey, right? And I don't hold anything against her, right?
So you get told what goes through Grant's mind?
Like I said before, it was more, okay, this is why. It all makes sense now. Yes, there's a sense of anger. Yeah. You sadness.
Yeah. Did you almost feel like a part of you died to a degree? Like you almost lost something to a degree?
Honestly, because I started my eating journey and stuff, no, it was the opposite for me. It was, it's almost like...
confirmation, closure.
Yes. A relief kind of thing, because it all made everything fall into place as to why things were happening in my life.
Yeah.
Right.
What were the things that were going on in your life that you would notice that you think were, I suppose, a byproduct of your upbringing, bro? Yeah,
so the failed relationships all the time, and always going...
It takes a lot for a man to say this on...
Of course, I mean...
Which is awesome, bro, like...
I also do believe once you let go of that ego, man, and that's no longer who I am. So you can talk about it all you want. You can come to me saying this, and then I'm like, yeah, that's Grant 1.0, man. It ain't the guy sitting in front
That's
of
probably
me.
what I saw and look at still.
Yeah.
Grant 1.0, well, what you call 1.0.
Yeah.
The chest, the doubts.
Yes, the physical being, right?
Yeah.
The Lamborghinis, the cars, the houses, the watches.
The flex.
And again, hey, look, there's nothing wrong with those things if you can have... peace within not needing them.
Yeah.
And that is the part where you need to know for yourself, where am I buying this thing? Because
I need validation.
I need that dopamine hit.
Yeah.
Right? Which is what you do when you drink or take drugs, or as we'll touch on later, some people go to the gym.
Yeah.
Right? It's knowing, am I doing this because I want to do it? Not because, I want it? Not because I need it.
Yeah.
And those are two things that when I go to buy anything or do anything, I always ask myself, do I need this or do I want it?
Yeah.
If I need it, that's a problem, man.
Yeah. Because you're putting your validation on something else.
Yeah. It's like a person.
Materialistic.
Yeah. It's like a person in my life. Now when I'm in past failed relationships, I needed them.
A person.
Yeah. To feel loved, to feel validated, to feel
what you were missing, yeah.
As a child, abandonment, right?
How did you get on this journey, bro? Of this 2.0, of Grant 2.0. What was the trigger that took Grant along the journey was like, I need to do some deep work and start with meditation? How did that come upon, bro?
The last failed relationship, right? Like it was just crumbling.
Yeah.
You know, and I'd say some people might understand or resonate with this. Like the last relationship, I was always trying to fix, and when it was gone, trying to not just let it be, but try and get it back.
Fix physically attributes of your partner at the time, or
trying to fix whatever I thought was possible to get them back.
Gotcha.
Right, and this is that element of this is the spirituality side. So I was raised in religion.
Yep.
And
what, Christian or
Mormon?
Mormon.
Right. So, and to me, religion, I have my own opinions of this stuff right now. You know, I believe when we talk of you've heard of divine or energy.
Yep.
What the spiritual person is saying, what you believe in is God.
Yep.
It's whatever you want to label it. Whether you
call
worship,
this God.
Whether you worship a rock, whether you worship an elephant, whatever you worship, if you feel that higher being and power works for you, it's what I call the divine or energy.
Yeah.
There's a higher power at stake.
Yeah.
Obviously, I have the science behind what I believe.
Yeah.
And I've not been, and this is what I obviously encourage a lot of people to do, is sit there and go, am I just living through what other people have told me is true?
Yep.
Or have I sat back and actually asked questions of myself? Right? And 90% is you just believing what you've been taught.
Yeah.
And we can go deeper down.
Programmed, and your external influences have told you, Grant, you need to play rugby. Grant, you need to go to church. You need to have a 9 to 5. Right. So what was the first steps that you took to look into breathwork, bro, before we go back to the bodybuilding side? Like, what was the journey? How did you start? Were you looking at some YouTube videos and just intrigued, or did you go to some mystic country where they do a lot of meditation as a religion, like Bali or whatever? Like, what happened?
Yeah, so then another failed relationship, and I went to Bali. And bless his soul.
I love Bali.
Yeah, I went to Bali just before COVID, and COVID happened.
So you lived there?
Yeah, and then the 2 years basically couldn't come back, basically, and I was locked down, right? A lot of people would have said, oh, man, you lived the life. No, it was the worst time of my life.
Really, in Bali? Oh, wow.
Well, because I started shedding the old skin.
Yes.
To where I wanted
to be now.
Yes, where I didn't know what that was either. So, right, you would go through phases of going back to what I was doing, which was the partying, the training.
Yep. Training for external validation. Yep.
Yes, not knowing that that's what it was, obviously. But it was just...
So you were kind of like a cicada coming out of its old shell in Bali.
Yeah, and that's where the journey first started, right? Because Bali is a very spiritual place. It's kind of, I feel it's also losing a lot of that now with so much.
A lot of westernized tourism, eh?
Yeah. So I couldn't run back when things would go bad. I'd run to mum, back to partner, comfort.
Yeah.
Right? I couldn't run. I had to stay place. And I learned a lot there with the meditation. That's probably where the journey took the biggest turn.
So did you take up like the normal rituals of what Balinese people do? Is that what happened from Grant? Like I think in the morning they burn something as a reference of an offering, eh?
Yeah, and then when you look at those things, meditation, I can say it's the same as prayer. It's just labeled something else.
Yeah.
It's just you being able to sit with yourself, being able to sit with your thoughts.
Yeah.
And not have it run away with you, right?
Yeah.
Here's a beautiful example I use for my clients and my coaches. When you have things come up, see a thought as a leaf on a river.
Yep.
See it, but don't get attached to it.
Just let it go through.
Just watch it.
Yeah.
Right? It's when you attach to a thought, what does that do? It starts creating a roll-on effect, right? A thought
starts to build
emotion. Then as we go into breath work, starts elevating your breath.
Yeah.
You then send your body into a sympathetic state, which is fight or flight, right?
Yeah.
That signal gets sent back to your brain. The thought just gets worse. You start thinking of how it's going to cascade and get worse for you. So, for example, we've just thought of, I've just lost a client. Oh, man, if I lose another client, and da-da-da. And you come all the way down to being kicked out of your house because you don't have money to pay rent.
Yeah.
From a thought of losing one client.
Yeah.
That would also come back to you have a belief of lack.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, growing up, not having
Missing.
a lot of food,
Yeah.
not having a lot of money.
So you almost become like an anxious person constantly. As soon as you see some form of loss, everything just goes back to that, and you become into just constantly like safe mode. You're just safeguarding everything now, just overdrive. Is that right?
And all because of a belief that you still have from
I'm going
in
to
the
lose
past.
this. I'm going to lose it again. I'm going to lose it.
Yes, and being afraid of going back there.
Yeah.
Right?
Because that's what I think, pain or pleasure, right? People, it's all one or the other. I know pain's one of the biggest drivers. So once you feel that little bit of pain, you're going to run towards pleasure constantly. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. Instead of being uncomfortable in pain and knowing that, hey, am I living in the past right now or am I living in the present? Right? And that's where a lot of us, anxiety is living in the future.
Yes.
Depression
and I think
is living
in the past. Yeah.
Right? So you see a lot with the world today, we're not living in the moment anymore.
No. Why do you think that is during the social media?
It's everything, man. Social media, I think, is getting a bad rap. I personally think social media is a beautiful place to be able to spread my message now.
Yeah.
Look, I mean, whatever what I call frequency is or who you are as a belief system, you will only attract that same thing.
Yep.
So I can look at your phone, right? And I can click on it.
Yeah.
And if I see on the feed a whole lot of positive things or how to make money, that's
who
you are.
Yeah.
Right? If I go into someone else's phone and look at whatever is coming up, and this is no judgment, this is just another light bulb moment. You're attracting who you are. No one's listening to you, bro.
Yeah.
No one's trying to catch you.
Yeah.
Right? It's your frequency that you're giving off. It's like
it's what you're searching, what you're finding, what you're looking in and attracting. Eh?
Yeah, who you are.
Yeah.
That's who you are. So if you don't want to have friends that you feel are using you or abusing you,
remove them.
Right. But what is that also saying? It's what I've found in my journey is teaching you 2 lessons, right? One, that's either who you are.
Yeah.
Because the frequency, it's like magnet. You're just sending out a frequency to attract who you are.
Yeah.
Right. So either that's still elements of yourself, or it's something you need to learn not to need people to have love or validation. So you need to shed that.
Yeah.
Right. So it's about, again, knowing who you are. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So not many people know this, but obviously, Grant, you went to the Olympia. Yeah. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So trained pretty crazy. Went there.
How did you qualify?
So I won the New Zealand show 2022. Yeah. Amazing show, amazing
IFBB?
athletes. Yes,
Yep.
IFBB, yes. And then went to the Olympia. Look, and what I'm about to say next, and like everything I say, it's never being the victim of something.
You're just identifying.
Okay, I'm identifying. I see a pattern.
Yeah.
And I reflect.
Yeah.
Okay. Now,
you're kind of like a coach. You're kind of like a coach looking at the game plan and what happened on the last game.
Yeah, I'm not gonna point a finger and go this, and this. Look, what happens for you in your journey is to teach you. Either you're attached to getting something to feel good, or whatever that lesson is.
Yeah.
All right. So went to the Olympia.
What was that like, bro?
It was a beautiful experience.
Las Vegas?
Yeah.
Yep.
Right. It was a beautiful experience. I'll be honest, by the time of my journey then, it's an achievement.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
It's not the be
like
all or end all.
Yeah, at the end of the day, because I had more important things in my life now.
Yeah.
Right?
But was it a childhood dream?
It was a childhood dream.
Yeah.
Right? But then you get there and just like, if you need dopamine hit from buying things after a week of buying it, dopamine's gone, right?
Yeah.
So to me, there's more important things I value.
Yeah.
So yes, it was an achievement.
Yeah.
But, and as we'll go on talking about it, didn't affect me. What happened, right? Because I was not attached to
that.
It,
yeah.
right?
What class did you qualify for?
So that was the classic
212?
Classic physique.
Oh wow,
Classic,
nice.
Yeah.
For some of you that don't know, classic physique is the Arnold look.
The Arnold
the
look,
longer trunks, a little bit longer. No.
It's changed now again. See, they've also got the almost G-string kind of look trunks now.
Oh, shucks, okay.
Yeah, so they still show now the shredded glutes. Those who classic physique, those who know it's like C-Bum and those guys, those are the big names.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
So it's the more.
So you would have been in his class.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you see him?
Yeah. Saw those guys backstage in the.
What's it like backstage at an Olympia, bro? Obviously in New Zealand, it's you're looking at each other pumping up. Some people with their hoodies on, everyone's stealthing out. Like, what's it like in Olympia, bro? That must be like boom. Is it like a little gym at the back there, bro? Or?
So I didn't actually. Sorry, I got to correct. I didn't actually go to the backstage because of what happened, right? So I went to the athletes meeting and the weigh-in.
Gotcha.
They were all there. Look, again, like I said, it was a dream come true. It was an achievement, but I can see where people like
the hype.
Kai Green and that it's just normal because they don't put all their. It's not who they are anymore.
Yeah.
Right. They don't.
Do you like Kai Green?
Yes.
He's a
very. You look at the words. Thoughts become things.
Yeah.
I didn't understand that stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
Now on my journey, I know exactly.
He's all about manifestation, eh?
Yeah, which is again, I'm pretty sure you look at Dorian Yates now as well. He's all about breath work.
Yep.
The guy, meditation. It's so. If any of you think that this stuff is not,
I think it's all hippie and la land. It's not.
I can tell you, if you're suffering from anxiety or depression, it's the one thing we'll touch on this going forward that will help you.
Yeah.
First of all, the weigh-in was for the first time. Was it 9 p.m. or 9:30 p.m. at night?
How far out did you arrive at Las Vegas, bro? Was it a week out? And if you don't mind, how does that look like, bro, to the average lifter that doesn't realize there's a lot of things that go into play? Like you would have specifically designed your game plan, Grant?
Yeah.
Especially with jet lag, time of difference, water retention, what foods, where to buy the food. Like, tell us a little bit about that, bro. What thought process you go through when you're getting into that arena?
So where I was in my journey then, again, like in the past, you just used to overthink things. And that's where I think the problem, you just get anxious and worry too much.
Yeah.
Right. Excuse me. So with me, I stuck to same thing I did. I actually started my depletion before I left for me.
Oh, in New Zealand?
Yeah.
So, oh, wow. So how many days out did you arrive in Las Vegas?
About 7 days, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
So 7 days. With my body, you need to understand, right now I'm also sitting at about, I eat relatively clean now. Right? I've done things very differently, but I live there easily.
Yeah.
With more clarity of mind. I feel like my stomach is empty all the time. And this is where I found where the sweet spot is. So I come from being 112, 113 kilos.
On stage?
With abs.
Yep.
Right, walking on the off season to having to drop down to, I think it was 107 or 106.
Sharks.
Okay, so I put my body through a lot.
Yeah.
Right. So for me, having to get down to that, I needed to deplete for a longer period of time.
Okay. What does deplete look like in basic terms?
This is having one carbohydrate meal in the morning, and
it's just high protein.
Yeah, and vegetables and salad. So. Get on the plane, just and that also eliminates water retention because there's nothing for it to bind to except for this protein.
Yeah.
Right? So I just noticed for myself, I don't have a lot of water retention when I'm not eating carbohydrates.
Because what does carbohydrates do? Retains water?
Yes, when it's bound to something, which is obviously carbs, sodium, that kind of stuff. So get there, continue for another 5-6 days depletion. Was looking insane. I mean,
Was it hard to get the food that you would usually access in New Zealand over in Las Vegas, Grant? How did that go? Were you stressing a little bit at times? Like, shucks, where am I going to get my snapper from? Like, I have to get frozen snapper now, or
This is also where the whole when you do, and a lot of people are going to roll their eyes with this. Once you can prepare, right? You can look up where you're going to stay, what's around.
Yeah.
That's the best thing to do. With my wife now, she's that kind of person. She's always prepared, right?
Yeah.
But I also have learned from myself, you need to just trust the process.
Yeah.
When you're calm, you see things differently.
Clearly.
And you see more opportunity. When you are stressed, you do not.
Yeah.
Right? You see all things that can harm you, which is what fight or flight is.
Yep.
So
you arrived at the hotel?
Yes. And we had the places we already researched. We went, got the food, and found another gym. I had a meal, went straight.
What
to
was the
gym.
meal? Just
And the meal.
were you able to stick to your diet plan that you initially were going to go to, or did you have to adjust the diet plan?
No, because the carb depletion is just protein, right?
Oh, yeah. Does it matter what type of protein at that point?
As long as it's white, I think I ate just white fish or chicken.
Gotcha.
Right, that's the best thing for just trying to lean in as possible.
Yeah.
So got the meal, had the meal, went and trained, but now I'm just
Jet lagged?
I'd say no, because you're running a lot on now adrenaline, right? Because of what's coming up.
Hype, the lights,
Yeah.
Olympia.
Yeah. So you don't tend to feel it, even though I was pretty tired.
Yeah.
All right. But you go and you do it because it's what you do now. You choose to do it. So, that's what that felt like. All right.
So you're going there, game face on, you've got your pump up protocol, everything all ready to go. And this is day 7 out from the show. Yeah.
Yeah. So we go to weigh-ins. The weigh-ins are supposed to be in the mornings. It's always been in the morning.
So this is a Saturday or Sunday?
This is Friday. Friday, yes.
Friday 9 a.m.
Friday 9 p.m.
9 p.m. at night.
Yeah, when it's usually in the morning. Now, those who know the science behind it, again, I'm not making excuses. I'm not playing the victim. Right?
Yeah.
I'm just telling you what happened.
Black and white.
Black and white, right? I'm not saying this is this, that's that. I don't read into things anymore.
Yeah.
Okay? So be very mindful how you take what I'm about to say. It's not pointing fingers.
Yeah.
Okay?
So Grant, leading up to it though, you would have been tracking your weight.
Yeah,
accurately.
everything
you would
was
have been
good.
every day. You would have been looking good.
Yeah, everything was on point, right? Everything was on point. Now, those who don't know the science, in the morning you are taller than what you are at night. It's gravity. That's people do stretching. You would have heard of this. And
by how much? An inch, a couple of centimeters, 2 centimeters?
it wouldn't be 2 centimeters. I would say you're looking at anything from a centimeter, maybe centimeter and a half.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay. It's just like your weight. In the evening, you're going to weigh more.
Heavier, yeah.
You're eating, right?
Yeah.
And then there's gravity with that. And then there's dehydration
Yes.
with that, right? Throughout the day, you're getting more dehydrated.
Yeah.
So we get there, and I get there, and I think it's less than 1 centimeter or something like that under, right? And I'm like, man, how is this?
How do they measure you?
The
Proper
same
normal
way.
standard? Yeah. Yeah.
Same way.
And were you like, what the hell? And were you like, shucks,
Yeah.
bring my feet together, bring my feet a little bit wider? Were you
Yeah, but then
what did they say to you, Grant? What did they say? Oh, you're actually this. You're meant to be this.
yeah, then that obviously makes me 2 pounds too heavy.
Correct. Because for those that people don't know, it's a weight to height ratio,
Yeah,
right?
weight to height ratio. So, but then I actually had come down even more for this show. So it was only 900 grams or kilo, but at a depleted state.
There's nothing more to go. Where are you going to get there?
Yeah.
If you don't mind, Grant, so quickly, what are some physiological things that the average person wouldn't know or comprehend that you see? Like, does the fat off your feet get less? Like, what are some of those little things, if you don't mind elaborating on that?
Yeah, so a lot of that stuff is...
Dry mouth.
Yeah. I mean, I felt comfortable because you teach yourself to be in that uncomfortable place.
Yeah.
Right? So it was not weird to me. I'd say I probably didn't go to the... Well, I was pretty lean.
Yeah.
Probably didn't go to the extent that Dorian Yates, because he talks about how there was no pads under his feet.
Yes, that's why, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I went to next level stuff, right?
But what do you experience, or what did you experience at that prep?
I experienced, yes, there was a lot of pain and suffering. The body obviously telling you that this is not a good place to be, which it's not in the last week.
That's all right.
Yeah, so, yeah, I did feel uncomfortable, very uncomfortable, but I'm used to that uncomfortability, right?
Yeah.
A lot of people would not be able to be okay in that uncomfortable place. And that's where it's also need to remember this is a difference of you can't live there.
Can you see your fibers twitching? That's how lean you are?
Yeah.
The whole chest, everything just...
I'll send you a photo that you can also have a look at, a back double bicep that, would show that. So, everything was pretty lean. It looked pretty good, right?
And you get the news.
Yeah, so I'm like, man, okay.
So did they give you a second chance? Like, oh, you can go away for 30 minutes, but come back?
Yeah, you get an hour, right, to go and know
To reassess.
Right, to go sit in a sauna or whatever. The only thing that came to my mind straight away was
Stretch.
well, I didn't even know about that yet, right? Was take a laxative. Right?
Oh,
so
yes,
this is
of
the
course.
kind of stuff you go to where
You got to.
you got to think now, what is the last stuff I can put? I can't drop more water. I've been dehydrating and not drinking already.
Yeah.
I didn't drink any water. I think it was for 48 hours or something like that.
Wow. 48 hours, no water.
No water, and food was like
Minimal.
right? And this again, guys, when you watch this is not bodybuilding, right? Don't think of this last week of the sport and go, this is why it's bad.
It's bad for you, yeah.
Well, it's still not as bad as drinking alcohol. So for those that say the sport is bad for you, if
There's a
you're
lot
drinking
worse you could
alcohol,
do. Yeah.
you're doing a lot worse. So let's not go down that track too. But yes, the last week of a show is not healthy for you.
Yeah.
That's just plain and simple. But you're not living there all the time,
Yeah.
right? So tried that, came back, and also now you can understand if I'm not in a place of calm, the stress levels and everything just started
Cortisol.
everything was just rocking, right?
Yeah.
So I tried, come back, and this is where, I heard that, well, 2 other people didn't make weight, and one other big name, Ramon from Brazil.
You were saying, yeah.
Yeah, and again, guys, I'm telling you what happened, not
Not trying to blame.
yes, or not trying to say this or say that. So please understand.
Yeah.
And apparently he was being stretched left, right, and center. And I was like, okay.
Did you see this behind closed doors?
Yeah.
So, sorry, Grant, you know the Middle Easterners, they come decked out, ready to win, bro. Do they have like teams of people for one person? Like what does that look like, bro? You obviously a humble New Zealander, just you and your wife maybe, and then your Zoom call with whoever you might be your coach with. Some of these other big names must come with a team. Like
A lot of these guys like Ramon, they have their whole team, man.
Like how many?
5, 6, 7 guys.
Like a nutritionist, the training coach, science.
Whatever they had, I don't know what all they had, but yeah. And so they obviously knew what they needed to do.
Yep. And they manipulated it.
Yeah, and they manipulated it however they did. Anyway, I come back, the doors
Open.
locked.
Oh no.
Okay. So again, I'm telling you the story.
So you guys had done your own protocol in that, and
Then we had time to come back now.
Yeah.
Right? I come back and the door's locked. And I'm knocking on the door. There's nothing. And
what arena is this? The Orleans arena? No.
this is just where you weigh in. So it was, yeah.
So it's not the actual stadium of the Olympia, or
No.
Okay.
It's just a room within the building.
Gotcha.
And so all of a sudden I just hear a whole bunch of screaming, yeah. And I'm like, okay, this is weird. Why is the door closed? The door's never closed. We can always just walk in if you're going to go in and weigh in because that's where we're supposed
That's
to
where everyone, all the athletes are meant to go through.
Yeah. So that was okay, that's weird.
And so you guys knock on the door again. Do you guys get in?
And then after the screaming is done, the door gets open.
Yep.
And looking at your watch, say, oh, he's just made weight.
And you're like, the heck?
Yeah, and I was like, okay. Like in the past, like I can tell you, Grant 1.0 would have been like, oh, here we go.
This is rubbish.
This is this is that, this is this. But instantly I was like, it's not your time. You got to chill.
So do you try again, or
Yeah, I tried.
And
Got on
what
there
happened?
I
What was the
actually-
weight?
I was actually heavier.
sharks? But how many grams? 100 grams, 200
I think
grams?
it's 500 grams.
More than your...
More. Yeah. And I was just like, the guys who weighed me in, they were just like really good. They're just like,
Sorry,
you're
bro.
just stressed, bro. Like, this is obviously just getting to you.
So what were the protocols that Ramon did, do you think, that he might have done? Do you stretching him out? Like, do you reckon that they might have found one of those upside down tables where you open up the spine to give you a bit of height? Do you think that's
What I seen and what I heard, they were just stretching him. People were pulling on all of his arms, his legs. They were just like pulling him.
Shucks.
Yeah. So and it worked. It must have worked because
Do you think a bit of stretching with a depletion of like a diuretic would have assisted him, or do you think that will, what do you?
The guy was pretty shredded, man. I don't know how much more you drop, like, so, yeah. But I leave it at that, right?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, it happened.
It is what it
meant
is.
to, and then that's it. I can go back and assess myself. Right?
So you get the bad news, Grant. You've literally just sacrificed so much to get to the Olympia, which is massive. How do you process that? Like, what happens that day, bro? Like, what happened that moment you and your wife turn around and be like, how do you digest that, bro? That is pretty some big news, man.
Look, and this is where the journey comes in of doing all the inner work
Yeah.
and personal development up to that point. I was not attached.
Yeah.
Right. It was easy for me until I thought, yeah, this is a disappointment. Obviously, it's a lot of hard work. I was actually more disappointed of disappointing everyone else that supported me.
Yeah.
I didn't care about myself. I was more, that's what pissed me off. I was like, I disappointed all these other people that helped me. They gave their time.
Point. Yeah.
I was like, man, that was what got me the most.
Yeah.
Okay. But then I made a decision straight there. It's like, my wife was with me. I'm not going to, in the past, I would have made this all about me. I was like, no.
Yeah. You would have hit social media straight away. This is rigged.
Yeah. I didn't. I said, man, she's here. She has to have a good time.
Yeah.
So I was like, it is what it is. And
did you ever reference like the time of training sessions, the money, the food? You know, did you ever bring that up and be like, shucks, I wasted so much money?
Because I look at things so differently now. Again, like I said, that was time spent on seeing when I come to that next lesson, did I learn a lesson?
Yeah.
And I passed.
Yeah.
Didn't waste any money.
Yeah.
So to me, it was like, okay, it is what it is.
Yeah.
Right? I'm obviously not ready.
Yeah.
Oh, there's more important things to come. And I know it's taken a lot of work, personal development. Healing is what the spiritual world calls it, to get to that place.
Yeah. It's a place of peace.
Yeah. And that's it. Right? That is the ultimate joy.
Yeah.
Being able to get to that place. Now, I'm not perfect, man. There's still things that come up for me.
Yeah. It's called human though, eh?
Yeah.
We all...
Yeah, and it will always be learning. Yeah.
So, Grant, I suppose we'll cover off training, training supplements, nutrition, and then we'll cover off your breathwork.
Yeah.
So what does training look like for you now, Grant, compared to when you first started, when you were 17 years old, hard and fast, deadlifts, bench press, squats? Now it's completely different.
I think the way I'm training or how I'm training, it's not I've always believed in compounds.
Yep.
Right? It's the science of what I studied as well.
So compounds meaning your bench press, barbell, deadlift, rows, squats.
Yes. I've altered a few things though based on my biomechanics and also...
Give us an idea.
So for example, the squat is important, yes, and by science it has shown to
stimulate
the more growth hormone, more testosterone levels in your body. Okay.
Is it true that it releases, is it growth hormone as well, apparently? Natural growth hormone?
Yes, well, that's the science behind it. Okay. Compound movement, meaning we're using more than one joint to complete the movement.
Yeah.
Okay, so for a squat, you're using knee flexion and also hip extension. So, but in learning that, I also had to understand, back in the day, I was trying to just lift heavy weight.
Yep.
Okay. Does your muscle know how much you're lifting?
No.
It doesn't have a clue.
Yep.
Okay. What I've mastered back then was time under tension.
Yep.
That's the only thing that matters.
So for optimum hypertrophy, what tension time frame does the muscle need to be under?
Well, the science that I've studied, we need to have a time frame of between 40 to 70 seconds.
Cool. Would you be able to do that with one rep, with an isometric hold, and just hold it there, and that would stimulate the same?
However you want to do it is tension, right? But obviously having a range of different options to use and that fits you better, that gives you the best pump, is ultimately a gauge, obviously, of how good the movement is working for you. No pain, best pump.
Yeah.
That's how I gauge things. Okay.
So what, in terms of rep ranges, do you just stick within the 12 rep range or 6 rep range, or do you just focus solely on just time under tension?
See, that's where the whole reps
Don't matter.
What is reps? At the end of the day, I've taught myself scientifically and mathematically how I do my tempo work.
Yeah.
Right. So whether I'm doing a 3-second eccentric with a 1-second pause at the bottom, 1-second acceleration, concentric movement.
Yep.
That totals, like for example, is 4 seconds, right?
Yep.
So if I want to hit minimum 40 seconds, I need
10
to
reps.
do 10 reps.
Yep.
Right.
So do you, before you get into a movement, do you think to yourself already, you've already got a game plan of 4-second tension, 10 reps will give me that overall tension that I need for growth?
Okay, so you wouldn't make that stuff up on the spot, right? Like this is where having a vision or having a plan or having a business plan is setting what I call setting an intention.
Yeah.
Okay. You've already, what I call in the spiritual world, set out energy of what I want to achieve. You've got it visually.
Yep.
If you can see it here, what you learn in the spiritual world, then it must exist somewhere.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just here.
Yeah.
Universe meaning one. Everything is connected.
Yeah.
So the plan is already set. I've written it out with an intention of what I want to achieve.
Yeah.
So when we go and train, I train with my wife. So it also says that you can train with anyone next to you, right? They don't need to be as strong as you to be able to train with you.
No.
Okay, it's not about...
You can achieve the same tension with 1 kg to 10 kgs.
Exactly. And that's where the strength will come and the weight will automatically increase. It just comes with, but first it takes you to leave your ego at the door and understand how your muscle actually works.
Yeah.
Not how bro science has said it works.
Yeah.
Or ego science.
Yeah.
So, but bodybuilding or hypertrophy is both slow movement, fast move. There's also explosive, right?
So it's a range of 3 different movements. Yep.
Yeah. So there's slow isometric holds, another one.
Yeah.
Right. But it's incorporating all of those facets into your training.
Yep.
And everyone's different.
Yeah.
So what's going to work for you may not necessarily work for me.
Yep.
But that's with my coaching. I include all of the facets in my coaching and with my clients, as well as what we're talking about with the mindset and intention. So before a workout, I would actually 5 minutes driving there, I'm doing my breath work, oxygenating the brain, oxygenating the guts, and
Getting ready.
setting an intention of how I want the workout to feel.
Oh, I see.
Okay.
So do you go for different feels? Like you want to feel a pump, you want to feel a sweat? Like what are these feels?
I just feel me looking in the mirror, seeing the muscle is full, seeing the muscle has got as much tension in his hand. It's just a feeling. How do you want to feel when you
like
had
what
the best
Arnold
workout?
said, what Arnold said in Pumping Iron,
Yeah. Yeah.
The pump.
Yes, the pump. Not the following part, but yes, that part. So it's again, how do you feel when you've had the best pump on your chest?
It's like just, it almost feel like a balloon about to pop.
Yeah. So now I encourage you in our next, when you go and train again, take 5 minutes, close your eyes, just do some deep breathing into your nose, into your belly.
Before the workout?
Before the
during?
workout.
Yeah.
And set that intention and feel that the workout is going to be just like how you felt when it was the best way.
Because you're firing your the receptors and your neurons, you're firing them to connect to that area.
Exactly. So what you're setting an intention, but what people don't realize how science works is you're telling the muscle already before it's happened.
You're preempting it.
This is how I want to feel.
It's kind of like pre-workout.
Yeah. And that's exactly what it is with the pre-workout. You're basically setting a belief. This is what this is going to do.
And it doesn't really, but supplement companies love it.
Yeah, I mean, L-arginine is going to promote blood flow.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, so there's some supplements out there.
So what are some cornerstone supplements actually, Grant? Yeah, while we're talking about it, what are some things that you should have in your regimen?
In your pre-workout, if we're there right now, I would say you need your L-arginine or citrulline.
Yep. What does that do?
That promotes blood flow, vasodilation of the veins, right? Some caffeine. Now, my studies, I have learned that anything above 200 to 250 milligrams of caffeine,
Your body's going to waste it.
Well, your body's going to deplete glycogen twice as fast. Okay, so your point is to try and keep glycogen.
You want to keep it in there for
as long as you can.
Yeah, yep.
To get a better pump, to keep the strength in the muscle.
Yeah.
Right. So I see some brands. I don't know if I should mention
300 grams, 400 grams.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna say it. C4.
Yep.
It's got to be the most shittiest pre-workout I have ever seen in my life.
Why? Too much caffeine.
Too much caffeine and nothing else.
Yeah.
It's like the thing is jacked with, I think it's like 375 or 400 milligrams of caffeine. And from the last label I've seen, there's no blood vasodilation product except B vitamins, but like very low dose of that too. But what a lot of these companies have done is they've tapped into, people are so high strung now, living a life of fight or flight unconsciously.
And they just need things on the go.
Yeah. They think that because they've just got a boost of energy and feeling amazing that they're taking something that's going to help them.
Yeah.
No, you're putting your body into more fight or flight. And look, the only time you should be in fight or flight is during a workout, because that's shutting off the digestive system and pumping blood to the extremities.
So say it again. So you should only be in
fight or flight, which is your sympathetic nervous system state, which is the body will automatically shut down or decrease blood flow to the vital or the organs that are responsible for digestion and absorption, right?
After your workouts.
During
your workouts.
Yeah, because right now what we're doing is we want to pump blood, as much blood to the muscle we're using, right? It's exactly what happens with when you're in fight or flight. What happens is, for example, if you would have heard this back in the old day, we were running from saber-toothed tigers and stuff like that. So when you're in
of course.
Fight or flight, your body's going to go, okay, I don't need the food in my stomach right now. I need to get away.
Yeah.
Right?
So it shuts that down, eh?
Shuts it down.
Correct. And I think that's the same analogy when you're in a highly stressed state. You don't usually go for a steak. No. You usually go, the body will tell you to eat chocolate and quick food, eh? Is that right, Grant?
Dopamine, right? So and that's, again, people don't even believe it or know it. 90% or 80% of your dopamine, serotonin is actually produced in your gut lining, not in your brain.
Oh, wow.
Okay? So if your digestive
you want to sleep, so everything you want to do in terms of sleep is down here, not up here.
That's exactly what it is. People don't know this, right? So this is, again, where the whole breathwork comes in. And I'll ask you to do something real quickly right now. We'll let the camera go on you and have you not think about this and do it naturally, and I can actually point some stuff out for you. But so you shut down the blood flow to the digestive system. Yeah. This means now your absorption of food, digestion of food is no longer.
Yes.
Or it's not optimal.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because we've induced this consciously to, I want blood flow to go to my legs or my arms or my chest. So that is what I do automatically. I do some breathing to then put myself in that fight or flight state.
Yep.
Consciously.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And then when I'm finished, you do things like, this is one technique of breathwork. Now there's two I'll talk about, where somatic is trauma release, which is unconscious removing of energy.
Yep.
And two, conscious technique, which is, you would have heard of, so Wim Hof, is like the Wim Hof breathing or box breathing, right? Box breathing brings your body back into a state of equilibrium or balance, which then switches on the digestive system again.
Yep.
So there's times you want to be in that state and times you don't want to be. But what people don't realize is they're living in that state.
Constantly.
So if you're a bodybuilder and you think breathwork is not important, let me ask you this question. Is digestion important to you?
Yes.
Is the absorption of nutrients important to you?
Yep.
Okay. So if you're living in a high-strung state all the time, are you then
absorbing that the
food you're eating, digesting the food you're eating? Because if you're not, that's the number one thing for you that you must have to repair the muscle, isn't it?
Do you think our forefathers knew that we had to be in a sympathetic state because they used to pray before they'd eat?
You mean a parasympathetic
state?
Yeah.
Because that's a sense of calming yourself down. Eh?
Yeah, you're breathing.
I'll be honest, bro. I pray, but I pray very fast, and it's not good. Like, I probably need to slow it down because my body's not absorbing it. Like, what's your take on that?
So prayer is another thing, another version of just meditation, right? But what we need to remember is meditation is awareness, bringing awareness to our state.
Yeah.
Okay. It's not healing trauma.
Yeah.
Okay. So to bring us back to the prayer, what you want to do next time is just when you're praying, breathe in through your nose into your belly, which is parasympathetic.
Yep.
Chest breathing is sympathetic, right? Okay, see there, what I'm going to do right now before we even go on, I'm going to ask you to just sit normally. And if you want to put the camera on Rich, what we're going to do is, and on his chest area, so just down more if you can. Oh, the camera's going to move.
Yeah.
So what I want you to do is just take just a fast. Okay. Now notice that, I don't know if you could see on the camera, but
Just my chest moved.
your chest moved.
My stomach didn't.
Your stomach didn't.
Keeps contracted.
So what does that tell you? You're living in a state of fight or flight.
Constantly.
You don't even know about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we go into this even deeper. Fight or flight shuts down everything in your digestive system, your immune system, your nervous, your digestive system. Everything that you need to function
operate
optimally and healthily, you've just
Shut off.
suppressed.
Shucks.
Right? Why do you think people are getting sick more often?
Yeah.
Why do you think people are more
Stressed.
depressed, more anxious,
Angry and sad.
sad? Everything comes back
To breath.
to your breathing.
I forgot what country, it might be China or something, but I remember listening to a podcast and the first thing they work on is breathing.
Yeah, because it helps you to then get yourself
Everything.
into a calm state.
Yeah.
You know, and not being a conspiracy and stuff like that, but these people at the top know this stuff, man.
Yeah.
Okay. So why does healthy food cost more than unhealthy food?
Correct. They want to poison people.
Well, however you want to label that is your analogy. I do believe it's, if you're gonna do the inner work, and this is what I'll do with all my clients and stuff, and it's quite ironic, they see the pattern so clearly when they do these programs that I have in. I start them off very slow, like, what we'll do is we'll put a link in for you if you want.
Yeah, and I'll check it up.
For people to get a quick 5-minute breathwork break that I've made that they can try, and I can guarantee you do this first thing in the morning or at lunchtime, at night before sleep, instantly you're going to notice a sense of calm come over you that you've not had in a long time.
I'll be keen.
Yeah. And instantly you got to reprogram yourself to remember, once that happens, what's happening in your digestive system, what's happening to your immune system. It goes up. It's about living a life of peace and joy, not chasing the next.
Chasing something that's constantly moving.
Yes, but being here right now. But there's nothing wrong with having material things once you've been able to master that state, right?
Yeah.
Because there's nothing wrong. There's this saying that goes, you have all these millions in the bank living a high-strung life because all you're doing is saving up to then treat yourself because you're going to get sick.
Yeah.
Right.
There's no point in having it, eh?
You can't take it with you. But in saying that, again, this is not, you need money. It's just, and we have a goal with my wife and I, we're financial free life, where we can do what we want and when we want.
Yeah.
But if I have $150,000 in the bank account, I personally, I've said on my car that I want to get is like what's a G-Wagon.
Yeah.
But I personally think by the time I get there, I'm gonna like,
what's next?
Why do I need it?
Yeah. It's an expensive vehicle.
It's got 4 wheels.
Yeah.
It's no different to another car I'm going to get from A to B.
Same way. Same.
It's, hey, look, at the end of the day, like I said, it all comes up to the person and what they perceive as value in their life.
Yeah.
Right. So, but to say that, with the whole breathwork thing, as we touched with those few major points, like you said, you just breathe into your chest, instantly clear sign, and it's no judgment.
Yeah.
Right? It's just people are not aware of this stuff.
Yeah.
And as soon as you address that, that's one technique that you can do to temporarily
Calm everything down.
everything down. Now, what you need to remember is you have not addressed the cause, which is suppressed,
the root of it.
The suppressed and repressed emotions. Those techniques, just like the gym, just like alcohol, helps you escape.
If you don't mind, how we first started, do you mind talking about that real quick, Grant, about how you said how people say the gym is good for your mental health, but
okay,
it was really interesting.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Okay, so what we've been brainwashed to believe is that gym is good for your mental health. Okay, no, it's good for your physical health. Yeah. What part of your brain are you training when you're at the gym?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay, or what part of your emotional being are you training when you're at the gym?
yeah,
No, you're training your physical being, and that is important because there's different facets to our life, right? We have our physical and our spiritual being, our soul, whatever you want to believe in. So when we go to the gym, we go there because, I'm not saying everyone, because some people have done their inner work.
Yeah.
Right? I don't go to the gym to escape anymore.
Yeah.
Okay. You go to the gym, you train your biceps, right? Because you couldn't sit at home because your mind was racing.
Yeah.
Right? I can say probably 80 to 90% of the people out there are doing this.
Yeah.
And now we've labeled going to the gym is good for my mental health. Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
What have you done? After the gym, when you come back tomorrow, how's your brain?
It's the same.
So what did you do for your mental health?
Yeah.
You didn't do anything. You just escaped.
Yeah.
There's the key right there, right? So let me ask you this. And again, I'm not saying the gym is not important. It's your physical being.
That's being trained.
Yes, which is also another aspect you should be training, right? But if the gym gets taken away from you,
what do you got?
Which has happened in the past, the C word, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
What happens? Now you're in a state.
Yeah.
That thing in your head is what I call is the universe forcing you to address the things you don't want to address.
So basically it's similar to what you said, an alcoholic escaping by using alcohol as an escape. So some people use the gym as an escape, to escape reality or to hide something.
Some people use working 70 hours a week
as a way of escape. Yep.
Right? It's just your way of dealing
with
or
it,
coping with a deeper underlying pain.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm not judging you. Like if the world were to judge people less for doing these things, we would understand them better.
Yeah.
And asking, why am I running? What is it that I'm running from?
Yeah.
Okay? I can only share my story, right? You know, and that's abandonment, that's lack of love.
Yeah.
But what in your life happened for you to suppress that emotion?
Yeah.
For example, abusive relationships,
Yeah.
bankruptcy.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a form of escape.
Yes, because something has happened, and this is how repressed emotions work. Something has happened in your life that was painful or hurtful or scary. And what has happened is your body went into sympathetic state,
Yeah.
fight or flight or freeze.
Yeah.
Okay. And it stayed there,
Yeah.
which is what happens when you're breathing. Like, I'm not saying something's happened in your life, but the body is in that state because of a reason.
Because of the past.
Yes. So how do we heal that? We have to go back to that.
And open it.
Yes. We have to use, there's 3 ways that are shown by science. Psychedelics,
Yeah.
hypnosis, and then there's somatic breath work.
Yeah.
The first 2 have a 50-50 chance can cause re-traumatization. The third one, breath work, has never shown re-traumatization.
Yeah.
Okay, it's only shown a release of that emotion. Now, what you need to understand is what is a repressed emotion. It's when we've experienced a form of pain, anger, whatever it was, and we didn't allow ourselves a safe place to process that pain or emotion. Because we live in such a high-strung world, we don't have the tools to do it. We are just taught, get over it and move on.
Yeah.
Or here's another word that all of you may know. Don't be a pussy.
Yeah.
Okay? Those are the most dangerous words you can use, man.
Yeah.
For a man, and why do you think so many men have problems now?
Yeah. And why so many have committed suicide, eh?
Yeah. No different. Females have this too.
Yeah.
Okay? They're also growing up in a home where there was no father, or father didn't have enough love, or abusive relationship. There's no difference, except women talk about their problems a lot more.
The men do.
Yeah, and they cry.
Yeah.
Cry is another form of moving energy.
Yeah.
You hear so many men that they think it's like, it's shameful to cry. I can tell you it takes more of a man
To cry in front of us.
to be open with his emotions
Yeah.
and to cry.
Yeah.
A coward man does not open with his emotions and
Yeah.
doesn't cry. It's as simple as that. And you can call me whatever you want.
Yeah.
but as a truth in it. What happens is you're only holding yourself back,
Yeah.
right? When you let those things out, you open more space
Yeah.
to allow better
More
things. in,
things. Yeah.
right? And that's science. When you call me spiritual, it's nothing to do. That's why with the breath work, I've learned how to give you examples and teach you from a science point,
Yeah.
not from a spiritual point.
Yeah.
Because for me, I need that evidence,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? It's so important that I found on my journey to be able to help people with my coaching, and that's what sets my coaching apart, is this part,
Yeah.
right? Understanding why someone is not losing weight.
There's a reason.
There's a reason for it,
Yeah.
right? Yes, there's an element of discipline you do need,
Yeah.
but 9 times out of 10, they're not losing the fat
Because
there's a belief they're not worthy
Yeah.
of love and loving themselves.
Yeah.
And until you address those things that have caused that, they may force the body to do it.
Yeah.
But how many times have you seen people, they achieve it,
And
and
then
then bang, they're right back
to-
or worse than where they started.
Yeah.
Because you did not address the root cause.
Yeah.
You thought by having a 6-pack,
I was going to fix
it's
this.
going to fix that whatever is going on inside you.
Yeah.
And the what I call the universe, you may call it God, gives you lessons or whatever to then show you, no, that's not the problem. You've been avoiding the problem,
Yeah.
right? That's just my opinion of what I've seen in my own life.
Yeah.
And a lot of you will be able to resonate with that why is it that I'm not able to achieve this goal or achieve that joy
Yeah.
or peace?
Yeah.
Yeah. It all comes back to the training, right? You can see someone living in fight or flight by the way they train.
Yeah.
It's just something I've learned now
Yeah.
by the breath work, how they breathe, how they walk, how they hold themselves.
Yeah.
I can even tell now by the way someone walks with, for example, here's one of them.
Hunched forward.
Hunched. What does that mean? Lack of confidence, lack of love.
Yeah. Yeah.
They don't love themselves unconditionally. When I say love yourself, I don't mean look in the mirror and flex ego.
Yeah.
That's bullshit ego stuff. Love yourself means I get up
Accept
and
myself.
accept myself. I have boundaries,
Yeah.
right? When you come and you do something I don't like, I can go, hey,
That's not good.
I don't like that.
Yeah.
That's affecting me this way. Please don't do that.
Yeah.
You know, but a lot of us have come up, for example, here's an example, maybe some of you can understand. If you've grown up, lack of love, abandonment, you're scared of losing people,
Yeah.
okay? So when someone does something that's harmful to you, you sort of don't address it. You let it be because you're scared
Yeah.
if you say something that it will drive them away.
Yeah.
But what you're actually doing is accepting that behavior, which doesn't fill your cup. Yeah, so this stuff goes a lot deeper. The somatic breath work is trauma release, so that's another side.
We'll have to do another podcast, bro, because we have to get you on again, because this,
It goes deep, and I can tell a lot of people, I can also say the next year and a half, you will hear breath work from every corner.
Yeah.
I'll guarantee you it.
Yeah.
Because it's the only thing you don't need to take a pill
To have.
peace of mind.
Yeah.
And that's what you need to remember. You need to find a tool that you can use that you don't need outside of you.
Yeah.
Otherwise,
You'll be relying on something external.
yeah. And that is never a good place to be, right?
Yeah. Grant, it's been a pleasure to have you on board, my brother. Shucks, this has been a great podcast, man. I think it's been an eye-opener for everyone, especially myself, to see your journey from bodybuilder, who was still a bodybuilder, but to more or less a breathwork-focused spiritual person now, which is amazing, bro. Last thing, bro, what's some words of wisdom to finish off on, bro?
I'd say, I mean, what I see has helped me a lot. What I see that people need a lot in their life is give yourself time.
Yeah.
Like you use prayer, 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at lunch, 5 minutes before bed. But all you're doing is, here's a technique you can do. Just close your eyes, breathe for 4 seconds into your nose, into your belly, okay? And then slowly exhale for 5 to 8 seconds, right? So you're going to go, put one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly. You're going to close your mouth. And what you're going to do is you're going to breathe in for 4 seconds into your belly. So you're going to go. hold, and exhale slowly for 8 seconds. You do that for 4 or 5 rounds, and I can guarantee you the sense of peace and calm that will come over you, because what you've done is just trigger your parasympathetic state.
Yeah.
And for again, those guys who do bodybuilding, because I know a lot of you on here, is ask yourself, do I want to recover faster?
Yeah.
Do I want to build my muscle faster?
Do I want to digest faster?
Then that is the one thing you need to do.
Yeah.
So take the spiritual side and voodoo ha-de-da stuff out of this. Okay, if you don't believe in that, fine.
That's cool.
That's cool. But there's the breath work helps that whole process happen.
Yeah.
So you can't deny that.
Yeah.
So I would say just take time for yourself, man. Ritual, I'll give him a link that he can put in here, which is a free 5-minute breathwork break that I've designed that you can do morning, lunchtime, at night, or anytime you feel anxious.
That'll be perfect.
All right. So yeah, do that, man, and I can guarantee you it'll make a difference in your life. Yeah, whether it be living a more peaceful life, joyful life, or whether it be wanting bigger biceps or whatever it is. Yeah.
Man, thank you so much, Brother Grant. It's been an honor. Thank you, bro.
Thank you.
Don't forget to like and subscribe, team. It's been a pleasure. Don't worry, this will probably be the one of 2 podcasts to come. Thank you, team.